just going to go ahead and start here. I'm going to share my screen. Did you guys call in, or are you on your computers?
On our computer, so we can see your screen, yeah.
Okay. All right. This is a document that I use to help the developers get acquainted with what they need to do as far as installing the iframes and, modifying them to look and feel like they are part of the actual website that they're putting them into.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I know you guys spoke with a couple different people here, Arna, Molly, maybe Molly on emails, but I'm kind of the guy that, wraps everything up into a nice little bundle for everybody. And Arna will actually train you, which is kind of nice. He will actually sit with you and he will walk through every aspect of creating and doing these things. I'm just going to summarize them here for you, but the training is actually going to be, him sitting there helping you actually add the iframes to the page while he's on the phone, going through the steps, the manual, and explaining it in detail of how to use it. So, that would be really good for you guys to do. And if you guys have any other customers that are using Active Club, you guys would be able to whip these out in like a couple days, Having said that, I'm going to kind of summarize what that training would entail and what actually is entailed of going through it. Okay?
Sure.
Here's a link. I'm actually going to give you guys this document when we're done. Here's a link to our video tutorials, and then I kind of list the ones that are very important to watch. I don't know what content management system are you guys going to be using, or are you going to be just doing HTML?
We're using Craft CMS.
Craft CMS. Okay. Yeah. So you're probably going to need to look at, these probably are not going to be very much help to you because those are we have a WordPress plugin, but we don't have a Craft. So you're going to have to do all of these straight HTML inside your Craft, web pages. So,
right.
Which is fine. You can do that. And what we're going to do is watch these anyways, because these will kind of show you, especially number 7, they'll show you what these tools can do on your web pages, the different scenarios and stuff like that. So they're really good to watch. If you wake up in the morning and you're drinking your cup of coffee and you want to entertain yourself and you want to learn some stuff, watch the videos. It doesn't hurt. Okay. I'm also going to, what we're going to do here is I'm going to kind of go to the cart HTML, to the link that I'm showing you here. Let me bring that over to this page. Okay. The reason I include this link, and this is what you guys will use probably with your Craft CMS, is that depending on the scenario, these are the scenarios that we have. We have like a club sign up. That would just be if they're signing up for a club. Number 2 would be if they only wanted the shopping cart. Number 3 would be the shopping cart plus number 1.
Right.
Account management only, shopping cart plus account management. So depending on what scenario they want on a certain page, typically when we create these pages for our customers, we at least do 3 of them. We do the register, we do if they have the shopping cart with us, we will do number 5, which is the shopping cart plus the account management, and another page will be account management plus the shopping cart. That sounds redundant, but it's just how you enter that matrix is the difference. So you'll be able to switch between the 2 if you do these scenarios. And let me show you how that kind of folds together. Scenario 5 is a mix of 2 scenarios. So it basically has all the iframes defined on that page for each one. Like the shopping cart iframes are defined in here, and the manager account management iframes are defined in this scenario.
Sure.
So what you would do is just copy this code, put it in, but in order to get this to work for that particular database, you need to know, one, you need to know what we use for their database as far as this name. Yeah, this thing just irritates me really, actually. Okay. So in here, you'll see that, right, DemoDB3, these things right here are what we would use to connect to their specific database. Okay.
Right. And that's really, Chris. I'm sorry. So, like, we've actually been through all of this documentation, and really, we don't really have any questions about this. Our main thing that we've been asking for the past couple of weeks is just what is that database name, so that we can start actually implementing this stuff. That's really our main thing. Is we'd like to just
get the database name.
Yeah, that's basically it. Like, that's
okay.
I don't know how many times
do you know which data center it's in? Which one is this? This is Valdemar.
It's Valdemar. Yeah, I expect that they're in Washington. It's the data center.
Oh, it's the Washington. Okay.
It's a Washington winery. Yeah.
All right. So, all right. I'm going to go through this, and then I'm going to send you my document. I'm going to go talk to Arna so I can give you the keys. He just wants to make sure that everybody's got everything that they need. But he's very reserved as far as like just handing over the keys to everything to web developers, because it's come back to bite us, because when they can't understand what they're doing, they blame us. You see what I mean? So
yeah, we've been trying to get the website to a place where we can review it with the client.
Right.
But the fact that we haven't been given what we need from you guys as a platform has been slowing down the entire process of launching, of getting everything going. So it's just a little confusing, talking from professional to professional.
I understand.
We need to get this today.
Oh, yeah, you're going to get it today. I guarantee you.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly appreciate the the challenges of you build the system, and then you know how it works, and then you have other developers of varying skill sets being like, why isn't this working? And I think as our expectation is that looking at all the documentation that you guys have, like, it's fairly straightforward. Ultimately, we're really at the end of the day, we're really just talking about embedding iframes. So.
Right.
It seems very straightforward. Our expectation is that we won't have many questions, and so long as you're available to answer whatever questions we have, I really don't think that we're going to have much trouble with this. But we really our real priority today is just to get rolling so that we can actually start embedding these things and start seeing how we're going to have to. Part of what's also a challenge here is that we designed this site to be working with a platform that has a lot more design flexibility with regards to the e-commerce. And that platform, for whatever reason, our client, Valdemar, decided that wasn't a good fit for them, and so they've gone with you guys, which is totally fine. But because we're going to have to make some real design decisions to figure out how do we compromise our design in order to make it fit in with the kind of the nature of your guys' platform, we just need to be able to work with the platform in order to make those decisions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. And believe me, we have some really good sites out there that are using these things, WordPress and other ones that are just straight HTML, and they work flawlessly. So it all depends on the developer designing it, and I'm sure you guys are very good. You guys have a reputation that precedes you. So, I don't think there's going to be any problem. I will be available. If you do have questions, you can send them to me via email, or I'm sure you have my phone number now on my signature in the email.
Yeah.
You can give me a call when you need to. Awesome. We just need to do whatever we need to get these guys up and running. So awesome. I will have those IDs for you by the end of the day. Well, actually, not even by the end of the day. Soon. I just need a couple hours to get that all sorted out, and then. But let me just, for for the rest of the sake, let me just go through the other aspects of it, and I'm sure you're familiar with it. I just want to go through and make sure that you're familiar with it. Is that cool?
Sure. Can I follow up with one thing? So you were just mentioning you won't be able to give us the information we need today?
I will.
Yeah. Okay.
I will. I will. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to just make sure that you understand just certain aspects of this, which will, if you understand them already, great. If you don't, I hope I can explain them so that you do.
Sure.
Okay, the CSS styles, that basically is just that's your playground, okay? And there are 3 types of these styles that work with our iframes. There are the host styles, okay? And depending on which template, you know, they're designed different depending on which template you choose, and they're all defined right here at this link, okay? We have like 8 or 9 different templates that you can choose from to start from, and that's just a starting point. So if you like the way it looks at that starting point, then you can go through and start making changes from that template on. And these are defined. I've got them all listed here in these pages, all the way down to here, which is the override styles. So all of these going up are the styles that are used basically to shape and configure the boxes that these iframes are in.
Okay, so these styles that you've got right there. Those are to be hosted on our server and are for the iframes themselves, right? They're not configuring the content inside the iframe. Correct.
They're just configuring the size, the scope, where they fit on the page, you know, scrolling, and the box itself. If you look at it as a box, the iframe is a box, and these are the styles that position it and place it and decide how it acts on the web page itself, the whole box.
Right.
Okay, and that is designed. Now, if you don't have, you could put this in a file and then just reference it in each web page that you bring up. You don't have to define them for each page. These are like global ones, you know, because they have all the frames defined, and you're just going to put different frames on each page, but all these things are going to be defined in this one spot.
Yeah, we may, we'll probably, a lot of this stuff, it looks like we might end up rewriting just because of the way that we're going to design these pages. But sure, this all totally makes sense.
Yeah, and you can do whatever you want with them. These are just the class names that you need to use when you're adjusting it or doing the styles. So this is your box to play in. You get a copy of this, and then you put it on your website, either in the web page itself or in a file that you reference in the web page before you call the frames. Okay, number 2, this is the template. Okay, this is when you leave your website and you come onto our server, and that is when the iframes are built, they're positioned, and they're done everything. Now, you pick the template that you want to start from, and those are all of that stuff inside the iframe is defined in a file on our server. Okay, so what you do is we'll go look at that CSS style sheet, and then we'll walk down it and then position wherever we need to put everything in the iframes. Okay, inside the iframes, each control, each label, all that stuff. Then this is a sandbox that you get to play in, is the override style sheet. And what I've done here in the document is I have added, basically, for the Elk Grove template, I've put everything in there that is in the main CSS file in number 2 that's sitting on our server. So that's everything in it. So if you want to make a change in your override style sheet, all you have to do is give us the URL of where it's located at. We'll put that specifically in Valdemar's database so that it knows where to go to look at that override style. And then you will just put in your override style sheet, you'll just put what you want to change on it. You don't have to put all this stuff in there because it's just the way it is. And then you just define the class and override the style that you want to change.
Cool.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Well, absolutely. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Right. So basically, that's all it is. Your sandbox is 3 styles. You get number 1. You get to modify number 2 any way you see fit using the override styles. So in actuality, I mean, you can utilize these iframes any way you want on a website. I mean, you can make them bigger, you can make them smaller, you can, and the templates that we've built, we have just configured to make sure that they work and that they're usable and they look good on, mobile and iPads and all that. But it's up to you to do what you want with those templates. I mean, you can create and you can even make them way cooler than we have. But you have complete control.
So there was another question that I had about fonts. So we're using very specific fonts for the Valdemar site, and the iframes are obviously going to be on a different domain. How do we make sure that you guys are having the right fonts in those iframes? Do we just you want us to give you a our typekit JavaScript snippet?
Well, you can, and then we can put that on the servers themselves. But mostly, when those iframes are, well, we'll see if they will work just off of yours. But if you want to give us that, we can upload it to the, we can add it to our list of stuff that we add in the
template.
So you're specifically adding different fonts that aren't available in the regular toolkit? Is that what you're saying?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me talk with Arna and see how he wants to do that. We haven't had anybody ask to add new fonts to our iframes inside of them. So I just don't want to give you a correct answer. I will give you the right answer after I talk to Arna about it and how he wants to proceed.
Yeah. Ultimately, all that needs to happen. These are fonts that are hosted on a cloud font. I'm not actually sure which.
So are they like on like a Google Cloud Font scenario where you can access them with a URL?
Similar to that, I'm not sure. I don't think we're actually using Google. We might be using.
Yeah, I'm just saying as that.
Yeah, it's an Adobe service called Typekit. Are we all from Typekit?
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, so ultimately it just involves the inclusion of a JavaScript. It's just a script tag that needs to be included, and then depending on what server is displaying this, we can add that server to the list of accepted domains. So we just need to know what. The
server is defined in the iframe code itself.
Right. Okay. Good.
Add that. It would be Secure Club WA.
Yeah. Okay. So we can add that, but in order for the fonts to be displayed properly, we do need to make sure that script is added to the page on your end.
So you don't think it will flow down to the iframes as far as including those fonts? Well,
no.
We will definitely look in. I promise you we'll look into that, and then I will see what we need to do, how we want to include those. I don't think it's going to be a problem, so we'll tackle that when it comes. And so you can just look through these. The reason I give people this is because there are a lot of class names. Every control in that iframe has a class name for it. Yeah, almost every div has a class name for it. So that's a lot. So in order to find those, you kind of have to have a blueprint, and they're very descriptive as far as the class names, so it's pretty easy to find them. But if you have any questions while you're doing this and you don't quite know how to change a certain element inside the iframes, and you've done your research and you're like, man, I can't figure it out, just give me a call or send me an email, and then I'll point you into the right direction. It's not that crazy of a thing. Let's see. see. Everything else is pretty straightforward. So on the to-do list is you guys watch the videos that you need to. You've already run through the manual. You're pretty comfortable with it. You need, from me, you need two things. You need the keys to put into the iframe code, and you need me to figure out how we're going to add those fonts to the iframe servers themselves.
Yeah, that's correct.
Anything else?
I'm assuming that Kaylee has been trained on the or is in the process of being trained on their back-end interface where they're going to be, adding products and all of that kind of stuff.
Well, she's working on that right now. Usually we don't add the training until, for like the cart and everything else as far as the website, until we have something to train them with. Like there's a lot of labels, text that they can change in the database dynamically. So those things will be taught to Kaylee when they have something to see it being changed on as far as the website. So the first step is need to get you good to go. There are automatically, like for the cart, there are automatically some things that are viewable on the cart. So you will have something to see on there. It might not be their inventory yet, but it will give you a couple items to see so that you can do all the changes you need to make that look good. If you need more, you can let me know, and then I'll add some more test ones if they haven't been trained yet. So I will work with you as far as the database until she's trained enough to do it. So it shouldn't be an issue.
For images, for product images, do you support multiple images per product? And also, like how large are you doing? Like image resizing and stuff like that? What?
We are doing image resizing as far as to fit it in the container that you put on there. As far as the container that you make for them to display the images. There are some requirements. I mean, if you make these images huge, it's going to take a long time to load them.
Sure.
Especially when there's a lot of them. We have somebody that could redesign them for you, or if you want to do it, I can give you the specs on it. It's just, I mean, there's no real requirement as far as size, but you just have to play with it. But I'll tell you one thing that is a big no-no is the DPI ratio. I mean, if you have a high DPI, it doesn't matter how big that thing is. It's going to take a lot of time to raster onto the page. So
sure. Okay. So there's not like, I mean, the reason I asked that question is because if, like in our template, if we have an image size that, if we're doing the overrides and we make that image a certain, say we make it 300 pixels across, and if the images are being resized so they're only 200 pixels across, obviously that's going to look pretty crappy. So we just want to make sure that if there is image resizing that happens, that we know what the images are being resized to.
Okay, they will be resized to the container that you define for them to be put in the iframe.
Okay, so how do we set that container size? I mean, generally we would do that with CSS.
Right, and that's how you will do it here. We would have to.
Well, in the override CSS, you guys somehow scrape that value and then resize the images to that?
Yes.
Is that done manually on your guys' part?
What's that?
In terms of, like, is that done manually on your guys' part? Do you just go into the CSS and figure out what that is and then set that value on your end?
Well, we read the CSS and then that tells us how big to make the box.
Okay.
Put the image in, and then our code will read that image in from the server where it's located, and it will resize it to fit in that container.
Okay. Okay, cool. Great.
All right.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. I think we're just really chomping at the bit right here to get some stuff on the screen. So if you can get us that information, that'd be awesome. The database and any other components that we need.
Okay, that I can do.
Awesome.
All right. Well, like I said, let me have a conversation with Arna. Make sure everything's on the up and up. I'll tell him exactly what I did with you guys. I brought you through all the steps, and alleviate his worry that it's going to come back to bite us, like it has done. I'm only saying this because he's leery that this has happened many times where we've gone out and we've given everybody the tools, and then they go out and then they can't figure it out, and then they come back and say, well, it's too archaic, we can't figure it out, or something like that, you know. And in reality, we're trying to help you. It's just some web developers have just refused for training, thinking that they know everything they need to know in order to do it. And it just makes it easier if you go through the training, because then there's no there's no hesitation on our part.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, part of our concern is you know, I actually watched like one of the training videos, and it, you know, I mean, maybe there's other training videos where it gets way more complicated than what I was seeing, but it all felt very kind of simple, and I'm reticent to, you know, charge our client, you know,
For watching the videos.
For watching the video. You know, that's
I got you.
if we can get away from that, then you know, our expectation is that. And I think so long as you guys are available to answer whatever questions that we have, I think that's going to be the fastest route.
Okay. Well,
If
like
it comes,
you have somebody on your side here, so I will
awesome.
I will do what I can to get everything smoothed over with not only with our upper management, but also with Valdemar and Gailey.
Yeah. Great.
All right.
You mentioned time. What's the word I'm looking for? Time zone. What time zone are you located in?
Well, I'm located on the East Coast, but
Okay, cool.
the server itself is located in Washington, which is on your
sure.
time zone.
Yeah. No, I just want to be cognizant of like what time to expect you to be available. I don't want to be calling you at, like, you know, if it's 5 o'clock here, I don't want to be, you know, calling you at 8.
Well, that's cool. I wish everybody held that kind of professionalism. They're like, I need you now. I don't care what time it is there.
Yeah.
Right. It's all good. I'm usually work late, but, you know, if you want to make sure you get a hold of me early, I am not going to frown upon it. So,
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. And I will get you this document just for your reference. I know it might help. I know it helps me to be able to see the class names as I'm going through and trying to make the changes.
Oh, sure.
Okay?
All right. Sounds good, Chris. Thank you so much.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Talk soon. Bye.